Hi again. It's week 3, discussion question 2. We're talking about goal setting and what are some of the more challenging aspects of goal setting from a management perspective. This week focuses on what's called the S.M.A.R.T technique, which has a number of interesting aspects to it. And to me, I think one of the more challenging aspects, especially in service industries, is the measurable aspect of management goals. In manufacturing, it's relatively easy. You have production quotas. You either made 10 widgets or you made 9. It's easy to see who made more widgets within the organization, and that's a really easy measurable goal. But what about if you work in an organization where the goals aren't so easily measurable? Customer service, like how does one measure that? Like in my organization, how do you measure effective teaching? How do you know? And it can't just be whether or not students, it can't be student grades. Sometimes they talk about student grades as being a measurement of teaching success, but if you measure, and especially if you tie pay raises and things like that and additional rewards to something like that, do you want teachers to just give out good grades? Well, maybe some do, but I don't know whether or not that's an effective measure of teaching. So one of the challenges with making goals measurable is to make sure the goals really are tied in to exactly what it is the company is supposed to do. What is the organizational mission? And many companies have, I think, goals that they think are measurable, but I think they use inaccurate metrics. So, like for this discussion, how would you measure whether or not teaching is in effect effective? And so there are a number of theories out there as to how you could do that, but again, I think it depends in particular on the organization, the culture of the organization, and some other things we're going to talk about this week. So within your own organizations, when you're looking at how a company sets goals, how they set up goals, especially with that S.M.A.R.T technique, all of those components of that really need to tie together to make sure that the goal is achievable, that it is measurable. Like I worked at a company once, or was teaching a school where they measured student retention, whether or not you stayed, was the single biggest metric of successful faculty. The theory being that if the teacher was wonderful, you would stay, which in theory I guess is good, but there's so many reasons why a student would leave college that have absolutely nothing to do with faculty. So one of the things you really want to make, if you want goals to be effective and you want people to buy into them, the person really has to have some control over whether or not they personally can achieve the goal. And I find that one of the more problematic aspects that a lot of companies use when they set goals. So I'll look forward to some of your input and feedback within your own organizations as to how goals are set, managed, and whether or not you believe they're achievable goals.